2. I kick ass for the Lord. Welcome to the Sunday Movie Marathon. It's episode
Hello.
46, and I'm Max.
And I'm Chris.
Did I do that intro already? I don't know.
I don't think you have.
No, thank God. Phew. Nobody checked that.
Yeah.
I just say that I did it this one time, because I didn't remember at all. It's just us today, the old dynamic duo.
Yeah, a bit of a change in our schedule.
Yeah, we were going to watch some movies, but then nobody was free. So, and Darcy's away, so she can't do it this week, unfortunately.
Yeah, it kind of worked so much better for us to do it next week when we all have a lot more spare time.
Yeah, we thought we'd still get out an episode this week as well. It's probably going to be a bit shorter, but yeah. I don't know what I said, but yeah, how have you been, Chris, over the last week?
Yeah, not bad. Went to my first rap gig last night, which was an experience. I was worried that I was going to be really out of place and get stabbed instantly, but pretty much everyone there looked exactly like me, so it was all right.
It's quite a generalization, but okay. Who did you see?
It's a rapper called Slow Tie.
Is he slow? And does he make time?
No.
Why'd you see him then? But it was good.
It was good, yeah.
Yeah.
I was stood in the crowd just before he came on, and I turned around because I went with friend of the podcast, Kai, and he went to the bar to get a drink, and he'd been gone for like 10 minutes. I was like, where the fuck is he? I turned around, and Slow Tie was literally stood right next to me, like inches away from me, and I was like, wait a second, is that Slow Tie? And he nodded at me and walked away.
You said that to him?
No, I was like...
Is that Slow Tie? He's like, sure he's good. He just left it.
No, I think he could tell that I was like staring at him trying to work out if it was him, and he just nodded. And then like 10 seconds later, he was on stage. I think he gone down the wrong exit.
Yeah, maybe. I mean, well, it's a pretty small venue.
Yeah.
You could get lost.
Yeah,
Maybe you just wanted to mingle.
Maybe. Because if you go to the left of it, you get onto the stage. But if you go onto the right, you get into the crowd. And I think he accidentally went down the right-hand side.
Yeah. Well, a good night then.
Yeah.
Enjoyed by all.
It was a lot of fun. How's your week been, Max?
It's been all right, I guess. Last episode I talked about how I got the vaccine, my second dose. So I was like, I feel fine because it was like that day. Well, I feel absolutely fine. And I hope that, I mean, my arm is sore, but I hope that's as bad as it gets. That is not as bad as it got. We'll talk about this a bit more with the next episode. But for now, I'll just say, yeah, it hit me a lot. And I was like on the chat to you guys, I was like, guys, I think I'm having a panic attack.
Yeah.
Honestly, I felt absolutely terrible. So before I started to feel just awful, I saw Another Round, the new Thomas Vinterberg movie at our only indie cinema, number 6 in Portsmouth. And I'd never been there before, so this was like my first experience there. I was like, I wonder what this is going to be like. So I go in, take a seat, and you just sort of choose whatever seat you want. There's no like seat booking. You just kind of show up. So I'm like kind of like center right, and like they're trying to start it, and it's like it's not turning on, and there's like this buzzing noise coming from somewhere, and then somebody comes in, they're like, that's just the fire alarm. I'm like, oh. Why is the fire alarm? Why is it just buzzing then? Why it happened the whole time? The whole time I was there, it was just like this fire alarm, just buzzing. It was like nothing to be worried about. Oh, okay, great. So that was like my first hint at something not going completely right. And then the movie starts, and it starts in the middle of the movie.
Yeah.
I'm like, this is wrong. So I have to stop the movie. You have to like go back, and it's just like a black screen after all like the trailers are played. And the weird thing was they showed a trailer for Another Round before it started. Oh, wait a minute. What's this? What's all this? I don't know like if this is like the norm for them, if they do just show trailers for the movies they're about to play. I didn't appreciate that. I would appreciate it even less if I hadn't seen the movie before, because I don't really like to watch trailers.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was weird. I don't know why they did that. So then, like, it's just the screen's blank again, and then the movie starts playing, but the picture's not there, so it's just the sound, and just, like, the Studio Canal theme is coming in. I'm like, wait a minute. Something's not right. And then, like, they have to stop it again. And then someone comes in, they're like, oh, it's the technician's first day. Sorry about this. Gotta fix it. This is embarrassing. People were, like, laughing. I was like, wow. I can't believe this. And then, like, all throughout the movie, it's like, it's a great movie, but, like, the aspect ratio was, like the black bars on the side were, like, slanted inwards.
Yeah.
It's like, what's happening? What is happening? It's like this huge curved screen. It's a really big screen, and it would have been really nice if it actually looked the way it was supposed to look, but unfortunately, it didn't, I don't think. It's just a shame.
Yeah.
But I've got another showing, I think next month, for Portrait of a Lady on Fire. So we'll see what it's like when I go back. Hopefully they've fixed some stuff. I mean, it was apparently the guy's first day, but I don't know if they just like say that.
To be fair, they closed like March, like when lockdown was, like first lockdown in 2020, and they've not reopened since then. So I imagine it's going to be like hard to adjust.
A lot of teething problems, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've had plenty of similar experiences where I've been to the cinema and just everything's gone wrong. Like when I saw Princess Mononoke and it started off in the wrong aspect ratio and they had to stop it like 5 minutes into the film and start it again. Because like the aspect ratio was cutting off the subtitles.
Yeah. That's crazy.
And also when I went to see the Suspiria remake at the cinema, just as the film was about to start, there was a huge power cut in Gunwharf.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I didn't get to see that in the cinema in the end.
Oh, man. Oh, that sucks. That's a really good movie.
Yeah, it's a great movie.
But
I'd love to have seen it in the cinema, but...
Yeah. Oh, well. Oh, the cinema, speaking of which, I did see another movie the other day. Is David Bruckner's new movie, The Night House. I don't know if you've heard of this. He did like The Ritual before, and then like some segment in VHS, I think.
Yeah, he did the best bit in it.
Yeah,
it's like Amateur House or something.
Yeah, he's a good director. I want to see what he was doing next. The Night House. I've heard decent things about. So it was like a Monday, I think. Yeah, no, it was a Tuesday. So I saw on like the Tuesday, like basically it was like 3:00 in the afternoon, so nobody was there. It was just me and like a couple of other people. I found it to be, I already really liked The Ritual, so I was kind of interested to see just what he'd do with a different kind of movie. I guess it's still like horror. It's a bit where I feel like The Ritual deals a lot with like themes of guilt and like guilt related to like grief as well. This dealt a lot with like depression and losing someone you love and sort of trying to cope with that. It's also like ghosty kind of thing. It's like a haunting kind of movie, but I felt like I don't know if I'll go into like so much detail with it, honestly, but I think people, like the people around me, were definitely expecting a lot more from it than I think the movie gave them. I didn't really feel that way. I just kind of had a good time with it. The direction is still very good. Maybe a bit lacking in some parts, I don't know. It's not as good as The Ritual, I don't think, but it was entertaining enough. It's just like watching this woman just like walk around and get spooked, I guess. But she's like lost her husband, and it's played superbly by Rebecca Hall, who I think just does a fantastic job of like holding the movie up if the direction is kind of lacking in some parts. In some parts it's like really fantastic. In other parts I don't know. But yeah, she's really good. I don't know if I've seen her in like too much before. But yeah, she's fantastic acting. And she's basically the only actor in it for a lot of it, because she's not really talking to too many people. It's just like, she talks to like the ghost, I guess. And the ghost like comes into the house and she's like, that's it. You've really annoyed me now, actually, because I was trying to go to sleep. She just like talks to it as if it's like some dude, because she thinks it's her husband. Yeah, yeah, just a pretty good movie. I don't know if I will watch it again though. I think I might recommend it, but I wouldn't like recommend it if it's like you're going in to see like a cool horror movie, because it's not. It's kind of just like an examination of like grief and depression, I feel, and it's
Yeah.
interesting to see like the route it takes. But I don't think you're going to get like so much out of it if you're kind of wanting like sort of what it says on the tin. It's like, oh, The Night House. That sounds like a horror movie. It's not really what you're going to get. It's just kind of like, it's a lot like calmer, I think. And I don't really get like the haunting isn't like aggressive. It's just like, yeah, like it's there and she's got to deal with it, I guess. And it's like a metaphor for kind of just how she's feeling in a way, and she's got to like overcome that. Yeah, decent movie. 6 out of 10, I think I gave it. Yeah, why not?
Nice. I'll probably check it out at some point. I really did like the segment he did in VHS quite a lot, so I want to check out some of his movies.
You got to watch The Ritual as well. I watched that like the night I saw The Night House as well. I liked that a lot more on the second watch. That was very good too.
Nice. So we watched a film together on Monday, which was originally going to be the basis for pretty much the whole episode, and then I think we both realised we didn't actually really have a lot to say about it.
Mm-hmm. It was, yeah, it was Andrei Tarkovsky's Mirror from 1975. I got the Criterion Blu-ray. I was like, I love Tarkovsky. Let's watch it. We'll have loads to say about this. So, what's it about? What's the movie about?
So it's quite, I think it's very abstract in the way it tells its story. Like, watching it, it's not really clear exactly what's happening or what the purpose of each scene is, and like if they're even connected and that sort of thing. But I think reading the plot summary, it made a bit more sense. It's about a dying man in his 40s who's like looking back at his childhood and his mother, and how just like personal moments in his life that kind of juxtapose big important moments in Soviet history in the 40s and 50s, I believe.
Yeah, Tarkovsky's a man who definitely abhors like violence and war. You get a lot from like his movies about just like graphic imagery to do with war. This movie is no exception. But I think just the problem I had overall with it was like, yeah, it's a nice movie. I'm having a nice time, and it's definitely saying something that I'm not really getting from it. But yeah, I don't know. I was kind of bored. I was kind of bored for a lot of it, and it's like an hour and 40 minutes, but it felt like 2.5 hours almost. And it's very frustrating to get through when I had no idea what it was trying to tell me. Even after reading like a plot synopsis, I was like, I'm not really getting that from it at all.
Yeah, I did find it very hard to put the pieces together. I wasn't really bored, but I was very confused. I didn't really understand the purpose of everything. And the problem with the film is I really do feel like it's a multi-watcher. You can't watch it once and get everything from it. Like,
No.
I know, like, we've both watched it once now, and I know that 100% if we watch it another couple of times, our opinion will probably be, like, completely different.
Yeah, so maybe that's one to pull out when we get like a Tarkovsky marathon in the future. If we could like review it again with like a different frame of reference, I guess. So maybe I wasn't like so bored as much as I was frustrated, because like it's not really narratively structured. It's just like scenes that happen. Like you watch it and they're very pretty, but I didn't really understand what was going on, I guess.
Yeah, I thought a lot of the cinematography was just really beautiful, and there's just like a lot of really creative and fantastic imagery throughout. A lot of bits that like really, really stuck with me, like the shot of there's like a woman floating over a bed, which was just a really, really great shot. There's a bit that I think we were both like, what the fuck? Where there's like there's a bit where you see them like training. It's like young people training for the army, and like someone opens a grenade, which you find out is actually like a fake like training grenade. And there's like a shot of a guy on the ground, and he's got like a lump on his head that's like pulsating like a heartbeat. Yeah, that was something that really stuck with me.
That was a great scene though. There was like a super tense scene. I was like, oh my god, what's gonna happen? There are kids here. This better not happen. That was like terrifying almost.
Yeah, that was a great scene.
Yeah, it was fantastic. Again, they're like all like, I think these scenes are great. All the scenes are great. But as a movie, I just don't know what to think about it. There's a great shot where like a woman, like she's washing her hair in like a basin, and then she pulls her head out of the basin, and like the whole room is just like dripping wet all of a sudden, and it's got like just like really dark. I'm like, whoa, I don't even know how he did that. It was crazy.
Yeah, that was really great.
There's more to do with like Tarkovsky's obsession with water as well. And there's loads of water in this, and it's like nobody can film it like he does. He's the master, or he was the master.
Yeah, I really like the opening scene, or maybe one of the opening scenes where you got like the forensic doctor who's played by Anatoly Solentisyn or Nitsin. I can't pronounce his name.
Yeah,
I'm terrible with names. But the guy is like in all of his movies. Like he was in Stalker, Andrei Rublev, and Solaris. And he just like shows up out of nowhere and just like starts talking to this woman. It's almost like he's flirting with her. Like I really enjoyed that scene. I thought it was just really like well written, quite funny.
Yeah, he's a fantastic actor. I thought like the movie was going to be about like that, just like people living on like a farm or something, and like really nice green landscapes. And then it's not really about that because it's about like something else, and I don't know what it's about. But like the cover is like a really standout part for me is like when the barn burns to the ground. It's like just this barn on fire. It's like you're watching it burn, and like the rain is like pouring from like the roof tiles. It looks fantastic.
Yeah, that's a really incredible shot. I did like how there's a lot of scenes where it's just like scenes of poetry, because Tarkovsky's father, Arseny Tarkovsky, he was a poet, and like Tarkovsky used a lot of his poems, like got his dad to actually read them for the film, and uses a lot of them throughout. And I thought those were all really great.
Yeah, those were nice. I liked a good bit of poetry. Sometimes I felt like I was losing a bit of interest in those scenes. I was like, I don't even know what this means. It's just like this constant stream of words, and I don't really understand what any of it like relates to or what any of it means. Perhaps on a second watch I would get a bit more out of it though. This is the thing, I just want to watch it again, and I want to like the Criterion Blu-ray's got this big book with it. I want to read that. I want to watch some reviews, you know. It's not a movie to like watch one time, read nothing about, and then just go into like a discussion about how it feels.
Yeah. No, I honestly don't think I can add much else to the conversation. I did really like it, and I would like to watch it again. I just didn't really get what was happening.
Yeah. That's that then.
Yeah.
That's Mirror.
I wanted to rewatch it, but I just didn't have the time really.
No, yeah, same. I mean, I had a bit of time last night. I was like, I don't even think I want to rewatch this actually.
Yeah, I had the day off
now.
yesterday, and I was thinking about rewatching it, and then I just like worked on a video instead.
Yeah, well, that's all right. Maybe sometime in the future we'll talk about it again. Come back to it. I just find it funny that we thought we'd have like so much to talk about with it, and we actually have basically nothing.
Yeah, we spoke for like 5 minutes about it.
Yeah. Oh well, that's that's that then. I don't even know if I really want to give a rating, to be honest. I don't feel like my rating would reflect my experience at all.
Yeah. I mean, I've got a rating for it, but we don't have to if we don't want to.
Up to you. I won't.
Yeah, let's just leave it then.
Yeah.
If you want to see my rating, just go to my Letterboxd account.
Yeah, nice. So we were going to talk about something we've not talked about yet on the podcast. Been 46 episodes now, doing this for 46 weeks-ish, and we haven't talked about some of our favourite movies ever. We're going to go through, just do a little list of our top 5 favourite movies of all time.
I remember
Mine are basically the same for the entire, for years they've just been the same, but I think yours fluctuate a bit more.
Yeah, mine kind of go all over the place depending on what I've watched recently. I remember we did actually record an episode similar to this where we talked about, I think, our top 3 or something, but there was an issue with the recording. We had to scrap the episode in the end.
Oh yeah. I've completely forgotten about that. I didn't even remember what that episode was about. We thought that was so great when we did it. And then
we did just a general discussion, and then we just talked about our favourite films in it.
Yeah. Well, we're going to do it now.
Yeah.
Better late than never.
Do you want to go 5 to 1 and go back and forth?
Yeah, we'll do that.
Yeah, I can start.
Yeah, sure.
So, out of my top 5, we've surprisingly only talked about 2 of them on the podcast so far, including my number 5 spot, which is Mulholland Drive, directed by David Lynch.
Yeah, great movie.
David Lynch, I think, at his absolute best, just at his most out there and experimental, while also managing to create something fairly linear in a way. You look at the film he did after Inland Empire, which is just batshit insane and doesn't really make any sense at all. Whereas this one's much more restrained, but at the same time, it is very out there. It is very surreal and experimental, but it's great.
Yeah. That's my favourite David Lynch movie. Mulholland Drive, not Inland Empire. That movie was shit. That's the worst David Lynch movie I've ever seen. I had no idea what the hell was happening in that. It sucked. But Mulholland Drive, I mean, we talked about it on the podcast before. I think that was the last time I watched it, even. But I do feel like it's a movie I understand more about every time I watch it. I think, I agree. It's Lynch at his best, for sure. And I haven't seen the entirety of Twin Peaks. I get a lot out of that movie. And you got me the Blu-ray. Was it last year? Yeah, it was last year. I'd gone out of a breakup. You sent me that to take my mind off of it. It did that. No idea what the hell that was.
Yeah, it's just a massive mindfuck of a movie, but it's great. If I was to count the Twin Peaks: The Return as a movie, that would actually just be my favourite film. That's my favourite piece of visual media that's ever been made. Just incredible. But yeah, Mulholland Drive, number 5.
Mulholland Drive, number 5. Oh, I filled out the bingo card. Yeah, it was a great one. And I would watch more of Twin Peaks. I don't know. Maybe I'll go back to it eventually, but I don't know.
The issue is I think season 2 is very, very rough.
Yeah, it was a bit. The last episode I remember it was like Aliens or something. Aliens came.
Yeah, season 2 just gets just batshit insane. I think The Return is still very surreal and out there, but because David Lynch has had full control over it, it makes a lot more sense.
Yeah. He also had full control over Inland Empire, and that sucked. Sucked ass. Sure, we'll go. My number 5 is a movie. This might change. I don't know yet, but for now, it's a pretty recent movie. It's Robert Eggers' The Lighthouse. It's a fantastic movie.
Nice.
That I pirated on a first watch and fell in love with it. It's got Willem Dafoe and Robert Pattinson probably putting on the best performances I've ever seen from either of them. And it's just them
definitely.
Just arguing in a lighthouse and going insane.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy. I remember when it came out, I was waiting for it for ages. I was super, super excited for it. I intentionally didn't torrent it or anything because it was been available for ages, in America. And then I think I had to travel to Southampton the nearest city it's like 13 miles away from here just to see it in the cinema.
Yeah,
And it was
it's
worth
such a
it.
shame. Yeah, it is. You just don't get these movies a lot. Like,
Yeah.
I'm surprised we even managed to like get that in a city that was near to us. I don't know, but this was like after his other movie, The Witch, which is also a fantastic film. I think
Yeah.
The Lighthouse is better by a lot, but I would still probably give them like super high ratings anyway, just because like I do think they're going for completely different things as well, but they're both like pretty dark. This is a super dark movie, not just in like the color palette, which is just black and white, but like thematically, I think it's super like just horrifying to watch, which is weird because it's like so funny as well. There's just so much humor in it. Just a lot of like fart gags and like just them arguing with each other and drinking themselves into like oblivion is just hilarious. But like it's like this like horrifying undercurrent where like I don't know, like Robert Pattinson's like killed someone perhaps, or he's like escaping from his past, and then like Willem Dafoe's just like maybe he's gonna kill him, and then like he finds a mermaid, and it's just weird, man. It's just a weird movie, but it's one that was like super popular. I think a lot of people saw that movie, and it was really interesting to me that so many people watched it because it is quite strange and it is quite niche, and it's not like super accessible. I want to show it to my mum, but like it's just a fantastic movie, I think, was the general consensus.
Yeah, I think a lot of horror fans really loved it. I think I personally prefer The Witch. I think like that's probably like my favorite horror movie of like the last 15, 20 years. But The Lighthouse is really great as well. It's just a fantastic movie.
Yeah. I'd like to do like a discussion on it at some point, like a full length one, because it's like so much to talk about. There's like a lot to do with like old timey kind of like lore and like old gods and stuff. It's really interesting.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing what Robert Eggers does next.
He's doing the Northman, isn't he? He's got his cast for that so far. Anya Taylor-Joy coming back. She's got
Bjork's in it.
Oh fuck yeah, Bjork's in it. Yeah, it's gonna be amazing. He's just, I do trust him a lot as a director. I think it's gonna make something fantastic.
Yeah, he's also doing a new adaptation of Nosferatu, which I'm excited for.
Yeah, why not? He could do it. He could pull it off. I don't think anybody's gonna be like, no, don't remake my favorite movie. No one's favorite movie is fucking Nosferatu. Come on. But that was a fine movie too. Have you seen that Nosferatu? Like that really, really old one. It was decent.
No, I've obviously seen a lot of the like really iconic shots and stuff from it, like him going up the stairs or like coming out the coffin.
Yeah. It's a freaky fucking dude.
Yeah. Seen the episode of SpongeBob that he's in.
He's in SpongeBob?
Yeah, do you not remember the hash slinging slasher episode where like the lights are flickering and they look over and he's just like there flickering the lights and they're like, oh, Nosferatu.
Dude, who's that joke for?
Yeah.
Who's that joke for?
No kids are gonna know what.
No, even like the adults who are watching it with their kids. I don't know, like what year did that come out?
It's like the 20s.
20s?
It's for the great granddads.
Yeah, that's weird. They just did what they wanted back then. Now it sucks. Maybe, I don't know. But does it? I haven't really watched the new SpongeBob.
Yeah, it's not great.
No.
Number 4 then?
Yeah.
My number 4 spot is a film I think I watched for the first time a couple years ago. And I rewatched it recently. And I loved it a lot the first time, but like the second time, I just fell absolutely head over heels with it. It's Paris, Texas, directed by Wim Wenders. Just a really, really beautiful and emotionally powerful movie.
Yeah, I think you lent that to me.
Yeah, I did.
And I watched it, and it was awesome. It was a really good movie, yeah. Super vibrant colours. It was like, just this dude. I was like, what's up with this dude? But he was super interesting like the entire time.
Yeah. played by Harry Dean Stanton, who is
Hmm.
one of the best actors. I really love him. He was like super, super underrated. And he's just incredible in this film. I think his like performance is very, very subtle. He doesn't really have
Yeah.
any moments where he's like showing any like strong emotion or anything. But there's like mobile scenes where, you're just looking at him and he's managing to deliver so much with like doing so little. It's just really impressive acting. I think all the acting's really great in it as well.
Yeah. I don't remember there being like so many actors in it, though, to be fair.
No,
like a couple.
there's only like a few people in it.
Yeah. Is it Natasha Kinski? She was fantastic in that. I don't remember like much about the movie. I just know that like those roles were like just really filled well by those guys. And they all did a
Yeah.
fantastic job. And I remember it looking fantastic.
Yeah, it does. There's a really great monologue towards the end as well, which just makes me cry every time.
Mhm.
Yeah, visually fantastic score of just like all like acoustic guitars and stuff. It's like one of the only films that I think manages to make America look just like this really beautiful, vibrant and interesting place, like with so much character to it. Like even though there's like a lot of it's like set in the desert in like Texas where it's like all gritty and very sandy, I think it looks so vibrant and unique, and it just makes me want to travel across America.
Yeah, definitely. Well done. You made Texas look nice. That's a hard thing to do.
Yeah. Yeah, that's my number 4 spot.
Yeah, nice. My number 4 spot is a comedy, and it's my favourite comedy. And it is one that I can watch over and over again and really just love it to pieces, honestly. It's Monty Python and the Holy Grail. It's a bloody
Yeah.
fantastic movie. 1970, whatever. Yeah, those guys from Monty Python, love them to pieces. A lot of people, I think, I don't know what the general consensus is on the best Monty Python movie. And people say like Life of Brian. I mean, that's a great movie. This one's
I think everyone's either says Holy Grail or Life of Brian. I think the general consensus is Holy Grail.
Yeah, and then no one says Meaning of Life.
Yeah, and absolutely no one says And Now for Something Completely Different, which is literally just a movie where they remade a bunch of sketches from Flying Circus.
Oh, what was the point in that? Come on, guys.
Yeah, I know.
But yeah, that's a fantastic movie. I'm already kind of like on board with like the Arthurian legend type of deal. I just love that kind of thing, which is why I was so excited to see The Green Knight. Oh, still can't see that, can we? But yeah, this
only
is
a few more weeks.
it is as well. And I think the fact that it has like such a low budget, the Holy Grail, is like it works just super well in its favor. There's like a lot of movies, you feel like maybe they had just a bit too much money and they overdid it a lot in terms of like its technical elements, in terms of its like CGI, in terms of its visual effects. This one, it's like pretty much all practical, apart from like you get like Terry Gilliam's little animated sketches every so often, and they're still fun. But those
are great.
Yeah, this is like it's all practical, and they just like go to places in the UK, I think. Just like these castles and like vast landscapes, and they've all got their like outfits. Like the costume design alone is just fantastic. I think they probably spent so much money on that.
Yeah. Yeah, I think they filmed quite a lot of it in Wales. I know there's I can't remember what scene it is in the film, but there's a castle they shot at in Wales, and when I was like younger, we visited that castle and they were selling like books about the making of the film there.
Oh wow, that's awesome. Yeah, nice. But yeah, it's just so funny. I just love it so much. It's like this is like my comfort movie. I think I can just put it on if I'm like, having a bad time. This is a movie I watched the day I was like going through a breakup, and like as soon as that happened, I was like, oh fuck. So then like that night I put on this movie and I was like for an hour and a half, and then I was back to sadness.
One of my favorite things about it is how they use the low budget like in its favor to create jokes around that, like how they've, instead of like riding horses, they're just running around with coconuts because it makes the similar horse sound. That's like one of my favorite things about the film. It's just so stupid, but it's really great.
Yeah. It's like they don't have like the big budget to do like a huge battle scene at the end, so they just like stop it. They just stop the movie and everyone gets arrested.
It's just so stupid, but it's so perfect. But I feel
Those
like
guys
you
were
can just
absolute
say
geniuses.
that. Yeah, you could say that with like all of Monty Python. Like it's so smart and so well written, but it's also so stupid.
Yeah, well, they don't have to rely on like big CG fest to make something entertaining, because they're just like intelligent, funny people, and they can make something worth watching based on just what they have in their own minds. And it's like when you watch the movie, it's not really about what you're seeing so much as like just yeah, it is about what you're seeing, but it's more about like the writing itself. It's fantastic to watch, and it's something that I could watch over and over again. Oh, I might watch it again tonight, honestly. It's just, yeah, it's endlessly rewatchable, I think.
Yeah.
And it's one of those movies that kind of stands the test of time. I want like a Criterion Blu-ray release of this movie.
Yeah, I feel like I've not watched it in years and years, but like I remember like the film like pretty much like off by heart, like because I've just seen it so many times.
Yeah. Like the part where like they make that Trojan rabbit and like give it to the French people.
Yeah.
And they're like, well, we have to actually be in there, but like they've already taken it in, and then they just like catapult it over the over the walls. It's so good.
Great movie. I'm excited for that trilogy to come up on the marathon list.
Yeah, it's gonna be a good one. You think we'll probably start with the bad one. Which I don't know, it's not really bad. It's just the worst one. Yep.
Number 3.
Number 3.
My number 3 spot is by one of my favorite directors, the Royal Tenenbaums, directed by Wes Anderson. Really, really fantastic movie. I'd say this is probably my favorite comedy. I think it just does encapsulates what Wes Anderson does best. Like, it's filled with so much like hilarious comedy, so much like really deep and emotional heart, and there's just like so much love and care in the movie. It's visually super stunning. The acting is all great. The soundtrack's fantastic. Just everything about this movie I just adore.
Yeah, that's another movie you introduced me to. I love that movie so much. It's one of my favourite Wes Anderson movies. Is it my favourite? I'm pretty sure I said something else was my favourite. I don't remember.
Maybe Grand Budapest.
That was another one. But that's probably more up there as well. But yeah, I think he's just a fantastic director. And it's like, I haven't seen like Boss or Rocket, but like I didn't really love Rushmore so much. But this is like seeing him coming into his own almost. And
yeah,
it just, yeah, I didn't like adore it on like a first watch. And I watched it a second time, I did kind of fall in love with it. This is also another movie that I can kind of put on just any time, or like if I'm feeling low, it's like a pick me up. It's just a nice sort of like nice family movie. I love the dynamics, the acting's all great, and it's like a feel good movie really. But it's got some really dark themes as well.
Yeah, I was gonna say it's a feel good movie that has like a super super depressing scene where someone tries to kill himself while Elliot Smith plays.
Yeah. It's funny for that to be in the movie and still I consider it a feel-good movie.
Yeah.
It's just about like family and like, yeah, you get pissed off at your family all the time. And it's kind of like, it's showing like it's not all bad, you know. And at the end of the day, everyone's there for you, you know. If you have the kind of family like that, where it is quite dysfunctional, at the end of the day, you know, they're just going to be there for you. I feel like that's a good kind of message. And a nice little pick-me-up.
Yeah, it starts off with everyone just kind of hating each other, and then they kind of understand the meaning of family as it goes on.
Yeah.
It's a really sweet, enjoyable movie.
And you learn that the meaning of family is wanting to fuck your sister.
Yeah. But it's all right because they're not blood related.
Yeah, so that's okay. That's all right.
Yeah. It's also like the first time you realise that Wes Anderson hates dogs and wants to kill them in every single film.
Yeah. This is on the website of doesthedogdie.com. Definitely. What a terrifying scene that was. But that was like actually hilarious. It was
It's really
hilarious.
fun.
Like, just Owen Wilson in that like makeup. He's like out of his mind, just driving along the road. And he kills a dog. What the fuck? It was like right at the end of the movie.
Yeah.
Oh, are you going to do this to me?
Yeah, the film's now on Disney Plus. Got added on there recently, so if you have Disney Plus, I'd highly recommend checking it out. Or
Yeah.
get the Criterion Blu-ray because it looks beautiful.
Yeah, I've got a bit of the Criterion. Oh, we both stumbled over the word Criterion there. It's just a hard word to say,
Yeah.
you know.
It was the first Criterion Blu-ray I got because I loved the film already.
Mm-hmm. Might have been my first Criterion. Yeah, maybe. I don't know. It was one of the first. Yeah, nice one. The Royal Tenenbaums. Lovely. My third favourite movie is a movie we talked about on the podcast already, so I don't think we need to go into like so much discussion about it, but it's a ghost story.
Yeah.
That I bumped up to a 10 on my most recent watch when we discussed it on the podcast, because I figured, yeah, it's got that one scene that's like actually just horrible and terrible in every single way. Still don't like that scene. I still think it sucks. Just
it
like
is
telling me
shit.
what to think about the movie. Like, fuck you. How dare you? Like, no movie should do. Just like stop it. Just stop the movie immediately. Here's what it's about. All right, carry on. How dare you? Let me think for myself, you absolute idiot. But the rest of it is fucking fantastic and beautiful in every way. And is like, it is kind of a movie that makes me feel like there's more out there in the universe. There's more out there for us than just our day-to-day lives. And it resonates with me on like a existential level, and it also resonates with me because it's also like a romance, and I think it tackles just like romance as a whole. I think this is like the best romantic movie I've ever seen, because it deals with romance in a way that can't really be quantified by like just, yeah, they love each other. It's like, no, this shit like transcends everything, and it transcends time, and it transcends the universe. That's also just how I feel about, because when you're super in love with someone, you can't really explain that kind of thing, and to try to explain like how much you love someone in that moment when you are just so head over heels in love is incredibly hard, and often words don't really cut it. I just think it's a movie that, yeah, just I think gets better with every watch for me, and I'll probably just watch it over and over again until I die. I think it's just fantastic.
Yeah, it is really great, really powerful, beautiful, super well made movie. Makes me really want to check out some of David Lowery's other stuff.
Yeah, check out Pete's Dragon.
Oh yeah, I'm excited for The Green Knight to eventually come out, which we haven't actually talked about recently. How it's finally got a release date.
Yeah, we'll see. It's going to Amazon Prime.
I really do feel like the likelihood is it's literally just going to play in like small cinemas, or like only one or two chains will show it because everyone hates the idea of Amazon showing a film.
Mm. Yeah. Fuck. Yeah, we probably won't get in the cinemas, honestly. Oh, it sucks. It really sucks. It feels like the kind of movie you'd want to see in the cinema. It looks so like large scale. You want to see an Arthurian movie in the cinema? Of course you do. It's epic. There's a man who's a tree. Awesome. But yeah, Ghost Story.
Nice. Number two?
Yeah. Number two.
My number two film is actually a film we already talked about on the podcast as well. When we did that episode, I said that it like moved up to my number one spot. But the more and more I think about it, I'd put this at number two. It's Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind, directed by Michael Gondry. Really fantastic I guess, kind of romantic comedy in a way, but also not really,
Yeah.
because it's not really that funny. But it's kind of like
I don't
just
know, it's
this
quite funny.
really, really powerful film about breakups and just emotion, and how, you look back at like the darkest parts of your life and kind of wish that they weren't there, but how without them they kind of leave the good parts like not being as powerful as they are. Kind of just all about memories and how important they are to your growth and you as a person. Really
Yeah,
existential movie. But that's Charlie Kaufman, the writer for you.
that is him. So in a nutshell. Yeah. I think I watched this for the first time, like, I think I said this before when we reviewed it, but like just after a breakup. I was like, this was a bad idea.
Yeah.
I don't know why I did that. But it almost like got me to like kind of appreciate the different things a bit more. You just like see things differently. I think that's like what the best kind of art can do for you, is it kind of just like alters your perspective on different things you thought you knew about, or like things you didn't know about. This is a very, I would call it like a comedy. I would call it like a rom-com in like the lightest sense of the word. It's also quite a hard-hitting drama. I think the leads do a fantastic job. I think the writing is stellar, and I don't know if we gave Michael Gondry like enough credit in the episode that we talked about it in, but I think he does such a fantastic job at directing that movie.
Yeah, he's like a very strange director. He has to have like a very hyper surrealist like tone in a lot of like his visuals and imagery. And I think he just kind of threw that all over this movie. Like I can't imagine any other director like handling this film that well. But obviously Charlie Kaufman's worked with Spike Jonze a lot, and I don't think it would be quite the same movie as Spike Jonze was to do it.
No. You get
As
more
great
like
a director as he is, and as like creative and stuff as a lot of his movies
Yeah.
are, I just don't think it would have been quite as interesting visually.
No, like being John Malkovich and adaptation, they're not like on the same kind of level as Eternal Sunshine in terms of, like, I mean, they're all fantastic movies, but it's like a lot of different vibes emanating from Eternal Sunshine. I feel where it's more like transcendental.
Yeah, definitely.
You got like people with no faces in that movie. That's fucking like crazy shit just happening all the time. Just things changing around when like you don't see it, or just like people talking when they're not actually supposed to be talking. It's like horrendous. It's like a nightmare sometimes.
Yeah.
Yeah, great movie.
Yeah, fantastic.
What's my number two? My number two is, I want to talk about this movie a lot more in like a separate, isolated episode where like we're talking about like, here's 3 movies that we watched. I want to recommend this at some point, so I won't go into like so much detail now. But my second favorite movie is a movie that was my first favorite movie for a very long time, and when I tell people this is like one of my favorite movies ever, or like this is my favorite movie ever, I'm like, oh, fuck you. They hate that it's like that I love it so much. I don't know, but it's like, oh, I was expecting something just so much awesomer, but it's like The Godfather or something. Like, no. But my second favorite movie is Logan. Logan from 2017, directed by James Mangold. I think it's just like a fantastic fucking movie, and they went out of their way to really do this character of Wolverine justice. They went out of their way to do him justice, and it's just like, yeah, here's this character you've seen for 20 odd years. We're gonna do a movie that he actually deserves, and he's gonna tear a bunch of people apart, and it's gonna be fucking just really, really violent, and he's gonna be dying the entire time, and he's just gonna be just old and sad, and he wants to die, but at the same time he's got to do these last things just to like get, like, he's got to be a hero one last time. But like on the other hand, he's got like his friend Professor Xavier Charles, who's like this old codgery man who's like 1,000,000 years old. He's like pissing himself all the time, and just like he's got dementia. It's such a bleak fucking movie, and it takes after like those old westerns, and that's just such a prevalent theme in like those old westerns. Like, yeah, here's the dude that's got to do one last job, who's got to save the town. It's just a fantastic movie, I think. Just so good.
Yeah, it is. I feel like they, with like all the Wolverine movies, they did that really, really terrible X-Men Origins Wolverine. And then like the two afterwards, it was like almost like they were trying to make up for it. She had the Wolverine, which wasn't great, but it was good.
Mhm.
It's like,
Yeah, it was nice.
it was like they were
decent.
like, yeah, let's just take this back in the right direction. And then they did Logan,
Mhm.
which is just fantastic. I think it's the best of the X-Men movies, and also like quite possibly my favorite like comic book superhero movie, like post Dark Knight. It's just fantastic. It's a film I've watched a few times now, and I just enjoy it every time.
And it might be Hugh Jackman's best performance. I think it's his best performance.
Yeah, I think it is. He is fantastic in the movie.
I hope he doesn't do any more. I hope he's done forever. Don't bring him back, Marvel. I don't want him back. But at the same time, I don't know. Like, you can't really ruin this movie by like bringing him back, can you? This movie's already out there.
To be honest, I don't think he'd come back for it. Although he said before that he would only come back if it was an MCU film, I don't think Marvel will want to do that. I think either they're going to want to just scrap the character entirely or recast it.
Yeah, I think they'll probably recast it. It's a very popular character. Just like not even in just like their movies, but like the comics, I feel. He's a very popular character in the comics too. He's like everywhere in like the cartoons too. When you see like those like kids cartoons that they did back in the day, he was always there as a mainstay, Wolverine. But this one, it's not for kids. I'll be honest. It's like a 15. There's like so much blood. Like the I don't know if you like remember like the intro scene. He's just like him in like a limo. And he's just like sleeping. And he's just so fucking like tired. And he gets out because like someone's trying to like steal his tire. And you just like, there's the first scene is just him literally ripping these people apart.
Yeah,
And
it's
like,
a great intro.
the color is amazing. It's like purple in this scene. I think the movie looks fantastic. And it's like, he just tears these people apart. He like cuts their heads off and like their arms, and it's going everywhere. It's insane. It's absolutely crazy. That might be like the best intro to a movie I've ever seen. I absolutely
It is really
adore it.
crazy. Have you watched the like Logan Noir, like the black and white version of it yet?
I haven't. I don't know if it's gonna. I don't really see the point, to be honest. Because
No,
like,
me neither.
it is trying to like mimic those like early Western movies, but at the same time, a lot of those were in color. You know, like Shane, they reference in the movie, like that's in color. $3 trilogy, the Dollars trilogy. Those are in color. Those are iconic. I don't feel like anything's really needed. I've got like the Blu-ray Steelbook for Logan, and it does come with Logan Noir, but I just don't know.
Yeah,
I don't
the
know
Blu-ray
if-
I've got does as well.
They did the same thing for Parasite. I don't think it would really add anything.
Yeah. There's quite a
Especially
few
since like so
films
much of the
done that.
movie is like really reliant on like the color, and just like the coloring is like absolutely fantastic in that movie. I don't think just to wash it out with black and white, I don't think it would help at all.
Yeah. Number one then?
Number one then.
Yeah. My number one favorite film of all time is one we haven't talked about on the podcast, but I know like the trilogy is like on the marathon list, so I'm excited for that to eventually come up. It's of course The Exorcist, directed by William Friedkin. Really disturbing, creepy horror movie, which I've seen 1,000,001 times, and I just never get sick of it. It's really horrifying to watch it at times, like really emotionally powerful, like seeing this like mother who's just being completely destroyed by like how powerless she is, seeing her daughter just being like destroyed like over time by whatever it is that she has wrong with her. It's like a lot of just a great plot all about religion and losing faith and trying to come to terms with it, and like the battle between good and evil. Just a really fantastic movie.
It's a classic, and I watched it for the first time. I was like, "Oh, that was really good." I didn't find it scary. I was just like, "Oh, it was nice." It was a good movie, really good. And then I watched it a second time. I don't know how many times I've seen it now. Maybe like 2 or 3 times. The last time I watched it, I was like, fucking terrified. I was actually terrified. I was like, how the fuck is this so scary now? Like, I don't even know why I'm so scared of it now. It's like, it's insane. Like, I feel like the same way about The Shining as well, where I didn't find that scary on like a first watch. And I just think these like these movies are not really going for like boo kind of horror. It's just more like, this is some fuck shit that's happening. You're just gonna watch it unfold, and it's like actually like horrendous and just like gets under your skin. I prefer horror like that. That's just like this.
Yeah, it uses like
feeling
atmosphere
you get
and disturbing imagery rather than like just loud noises to jolt you.
Yeah,
yeah. I remember.
That's good horror,
I think the first time I watched it when I was like 14, it scared me quite a lot. But obviously I've seen it so many times like since then, it just never really like impacted me at all until I saw it in the cinema last October, and I was like, I almost died. It was actually like the most like terrifying film experience I've ever had. There's something about seeing it on a huge screen with like great sound, like great sound system, because there's like the sound design in the movie is just fucking incredible. And like just seeing it in the cinema really loud with that great sound, it was just so terrifying. And if you ever get the chance to see it in the cinema, I would highly recommend taking it up, because it was just like one of the best movie watching experiences I've ever had in my life.
Yeah. They show it again at the View next month. I'll definitely see it, because I didn't see it last year and it was on. I think I had something on.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'll really try and see that this year if they do it. It's really
they seem to show it like every October. I think 2019 they showed it on Halloween, and I really wanted to go, but I was working, so I couldn't go in the end. Then last year, I can't remember when they played it. It was like the week of Halloween, and luckily I was off, so I could go.
Yeah. I kind of hope they don't play it on Halloween this year, because I do have plans that evening.
Yeah.
And I'm working all day. But yeah, I would see it again. I brought the Blu-ray semi recently. I haven't cracked into it yet. Might do that soon. Why not? That's a fantastic movie. Yeah.
Nice.
Love it. Feel sorry
or maybe
for the
we'll
kid.
have the trilogy come up on the marathon list soon. You can crack into it for that.
Maybe. Yeah. Great. Round it off then with my favourite movie. I've said this like one time, I think, when we had Reed on the podcast. He asked us what our favourite movies were, and I said Blade Runner 2049, and it has not changed. This was a movie that I first watched in the cinema. Nobody else was there. It was just me and my dad was like, we're going to go see Blade Runner 2049. I was like, all right, you're the boss. So we go and see Blade Runner 2049. I'm like, is there like a Blade Runner movie or something? And he's like, yeah, it's Blade Runner. There's Blade Runner the movie from 1982. I was like, I haven't seen that. So I just like going completely blind. I have no idea what this movie is. It's just like I just sit there and just like stare at the screen. I'm like, what is happening? And I think like Blade Runner was like really, it's a really dear movie to my father, to my old papa. So he took me to see it. It was just us there. Maybe like one other person was in the theatre, because I now know this movie did not do very well financially. It was just a big flop. But yeah, I was watching it, I was like, holy shit. Holy shit. This is insane. This is actually incredible. Even when I had no context as to what even was happening. And it's not like a movie like I would say, like, yes, I would say you have to see the first movie, but you don't have to see the first movie to have a good time while watching this movie. This is insane. This is crazy. Okay? Like, Denis Villeneuve, this was the first movie I saw by him. He's my favourite director now. And just kind of like let it wash over me. It was like, whoa, this is crazy. All the crazy visuals on it. Roger Deakins doing a fantastic job with the cinematography. Hans Zimmer and Benjamin Wallfisch doing a great job with the score. It's just like, if I had the chance again, I would love to see it in the cinema, because I don't think I got everything that I should have gotten out of it the first time around. So to see it again in the cinema would just like, it would be a dream come true, really.
I sadly missed it when it came out in the cinema. It wasn't until like a year after it came out when it was on Netflix that I watched it for the first time.
Yeah. I just love, like, not only is it just like a masterful piece of filmmaking, it's also saying a lot about humanity. And like the original did this as well, but I think this kind of steps it up in a sense, where it's like in the first one, you're following a human who's taking down replicants, and the overall thing is like, what makes a human? What if the robots are displaying these traits as well? Why is it fine to like kill them without remorse? Why is it fine to murder them essentially, even though like it's not called murder, it's called retirement? Why are you able to do that and it's fine just because they're robots? This is the same themes brought back in Blade Runner 2049, but it's more because we're following a replicant. The main character is a replicant, so now it's more like we see like humanity go to just like the darkest depths it will go to like keep secrets and just like do things for like their own gain. It's interesting to see it follow a replicant in this movie, especially because he's trying to learn something about himself as well when perhaps he shouldn't be. So he's kind of going against the current with, like, he's just like this police officer who's like trying to do a job, and then he's kind of like inconsequential to the whole overarching plot, but he plays a big part in just like, he is a crucial part in the plot because he's trying to uncover all this stuff. And I think what's his face, Ryan Gosling is fantastic in this movie. He plays these kinds of roles. He's like stoic kind of roles. He doesn't say much in really, really well. This is like kind of the same with Drive. But then like he's just like a multifaceted type of actor. I think he's one of my favorites because like you got this, great. And then you got like The Nice Guys as well, which is just fantastic, and it's like just comedic chops all over the place. This is like just insane character work. The subtleties to his performance that he brings to the character, they're just amazing. There are scenes I just watch over and over again in this movie just on YouTube just because I love it so much. I always think about the scene where like he's in that dome place talking to the girl, and like he's trying to find out whether a memory is real or not, and she says yeah it's real. He just goes insane. He just like blows up. It's one of the best scenes I've ever seen, ever. And it's like pretty much just carried entirely by him. I think he's just fantastic.
Yeah. It's a really great movie. Darcy's actually seen it, but she hasn't seen the original Blade Runner, but she did like it a lot. So
yeah,
I'm excited for us to one day review it properly on the podcast because there's so much you could say for it.
Well, it might be coming up. Who knows?
Yeah. Obviously, we've already talked about Blade Runner before, so...
Yeah. I just think this is like, aside from being just a fantastic movie overall, this is also the movie that made me fall in love with cinema, and it made me realise what cinema could be as an art form. And I didn't really care too much for like viewing cinema as art before that point. And I saw this, I was like, oh, this is it. This is insane. This is.
Yeah.
I keep saying it's insane, but it is. And I got out. I was like, I can't believe that I just watched that. It's like a movie that shouldn't even exist. It's so good. I can't believe it. Every time I watch it, I'm like, how does this exist? How?
Yeah.
Villeneuve is just like one of those directors, I think, who can like just pull you in so deeply that you forget you're even watching a movie, and it's just about just like the world and like what you're feeling, and just like he just tugs at like the deepest parts of your soul. I think he's fantastic.
Yeah, he is a really great director. I'd probably say this is probably his best film.
Yeah. We'll see if Dune is epic when that comes out.
Have you seen any of the pre-release reviews yet?
Have I? I don't think I have, actually. No.
Yeah, people seem to either absolutely like be head over heels in love with it or really not like it. There's no in between from what I've seen so far. People are just on one end of the spectrum, so it should be interesting.
Yeah, I think like Dune's kind of like that anyway, though, right? Like Dune kind of has that reputation.
Maybe. Well, I think
Sure.
like most people universally hate the David Lynch one.
Yeah. Great. This might be better than that. We don't know yet.
I sure
Well, like-
hope so, because that film sucks.
I trust in E. Every
Yeah, so do
time
I.
the trailer comes on in the cinema, I block my ears and close my eyes. I'm like, I don't want to watch anything about this movie until I've seen it. I just like put right in front of it and then I watch it.
Yeah.
One of those. Yeah. Great. A longer discussion on a few of these movies would be great at some point, but we'll see.
Yeah, definitely.
So that's the episode, I guess. That's all
Yeah.
we have to talk about.
It's a shorter
Nice.
one, but I feel like next week's going to be a fairly long one, so I feel like it will probably make up for it.
I think next week,
Because we got a trilogy, we got 2 new movies to talk about.
yeah. As I say, are we going to talk about Malignant? I guess we're watching that as we're recording. We're watching that tomorrow. We'll see if we remember it. But yeah, so we got that to talk about. We also saw the new Marvel one, Shang-Chi and the 10 holes. Yeah,
Yeah, that's it.
nice. So that's that. Yeah, we'll round off the episode then. That's that. Episode, what is it, 55? We've got The Fall to watch. I think that's 5 episodes long on the BBC. Yeah. And then next episode, maybe Malignant, definitely Shang-Chi, and The Nightmare on Elm Street 1 to 3. And we've got Darcy coming back, and Connor will also be back too, we hope. Yeah, nice. Any final words before we close off?
Shang-Chi is epic. Can't wait to talk about it.
Yeah, I can't wait to talk about that movie. Cheers.
What I remember of it anyway.
Yeah, we'll see. All right. Thanks for listening, and catch you next week on the Sunday Movie Marathon.
Goodbye.
Donda, Donda, Donda.